Good morning, friends, and welcome to this week's Tell Me a Story. My name is Miss Katie, and I'm so happy you've decided to spend some time with me today. We are going to be reading silly stories today. I hope that you have lots of laughter while we hear these silly stories. For the first one, it's a silly story about one of my very favorite animals. My favorite animal goes woof, 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 woof. While you guess, we'll load the title card. Did you guess the animal that I was talking about was a dog? If so, you're right. This is the story called Bark George, and it's written and illustrated by Jules Pfeffer. This is George, and this is George's mother. George's mother said, "Bark, George." And George said, "Meow." "No, George," said George's mother. "Cats go meow and dogs go arf. Now bark, George." And George said, "Wah, wah." "No, George," said George's mother. "Ducks go wah, wah, but dogs go arf. Now bark, George." And George went oink, oink, oink. "No, George," said George's mother. "Pigs go oink and dogs go arf. Now bark, George." And George went moo. Who makes that sound, friends? You are right. It was a cow. So George has said meow. And George has said wah, wah. And George has said oink, oink. And George has said moo. But George did not say arf. So George's mother took George to the vet. The vet is an animal doctor. Their whole job is to help animals. The vet said, "I'll soon get to the bottom of this. Please bark, George." And George went meow. So the vet reached deep down inside of George and pulled out. Do you see who that is? Yes, they pulled out a cat. So we had a cat that was making those meows. "Now, bark again, George," said the vet. And George said, "Wah, wah, wah." So the vet reached deep, deep down inside of George and pulled out a duck. So we had a cat and a duck inside of George making those noises. Who do you think might be making the other noises, oink, oink, and moo, that we heard inside George? Let's keep telling the story and find out if you're right. "Bark again, George," said the vet. And George went oink, oink, oink. So the vet reached deep, deep, deep down inside of George and pulled out a pig. Had a pig in there too. Well, that's 3 animals, but George is making 4 sounds. "Bark again, George." And George went moo. So the vet put on his longest glove and he reached deep, 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 deep down inside of George and can you help pull? Pull, pull, pulled out a cow. And the vet said, "Bark, George." And George went arf. George's mother was so thrilled that she kissed the vet and the cats and the duck and the pig and the cow. Oh my goodness, she must have been really happy. On the way home, George's mother wanted to show George off to everyone on the street. So she said, "Bark, George." And George went, hello. The end. Oh my goodness. George said hello. Who do you think George has inside of them now? Who says hello? You're right. People say hello. I hope there's not a person inside of George's tummy. That is the end of our story, and I thought it was very silly. I'd never seen a dog that had different animals inside of him before and that made different animal noises. Our next activity is going to have more animals inside of one another because they're being eaten. Stay tuned to find out. Our next activity for today is the song Slippery Fish. This is something we sing in story time, and I wanted to remind you of the motions in case it's been a while. We can make a fish with our hands by sticking our two hands together and making it swim back and forth. So we have slippery fish swimming in the water. Then there's going to be gulp, gulp, gulp. And we'll see what happens to our slippery fish. We're also going to meet different animals in this song. So when we meet a new animal, I will show you their motions too. Okay. Slippery fish, swimming in the water. Slippery fish, gulp, gulp, gulp. Who ate slippery fish? Do you know that animal? It's a crab. Crabs go pinch. So we're going to pinch through the water. Little crab, pinching in the water. Little crab, gulp, gulp, gulp. Who ate the crab? This is a kind of horse. It's a special horse. It only lives in the water. It's a seahorse. Seahorses go galloping through the water. Make some gallops. You can even gallop faster. My seahorse only wants to go so fast. Seahorse, galloping in the water. Seahorse, gulp, gulp, gulp. Who ate the seahorse? This is a pufferfish, and pufferfishes are very little, but when they get scared, they puff out their cheeks. So you could either puff your cheeks like this, make puffy cheeks, but that's hard for me to do while I'm singing, so I'm going to puff out my hands. Here we go. Pufferfish, puffing in the water. Pufferfish, gulp, gulp, gulp. Who ate this? Well, this is a friend that sometimes my young friends mix up. We're going to start by counting their legs. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This animal only has 6 legs. And the animal you might have guessed, an octopus, has 8 legs because they have the oct in front of their name, which means 8. So this can't be an octopus. This is a jellyfish. And jellyfishes swim up and down like this. And they're going to be floating in the water because they move very slow when they swim. Jellyfish, floating in the water. Jellyfish, gulp, gulp, gulp. Let's check their legs. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It is our octopus. It is our octopus indeed. Octopuses are going to wave in the water with all of their 8 legs. Octopus, octopus, waving in the water. Octopus, octopus, gulp, gulp, gulp. This is a big blue whale. And whales, when they're underwater, they hold their breath. And when they come to the surface, they spout the air out. And it makes a big sound like this. It goes, yes. So our big blue whale is going to be spouting in the water. Big blue whale, spouting in the water. Big blue whale, big blue whale. Burp! And the big blue whale burped up all of our sea friends. Look at them. They're all coming back. So they're all okay? That was a very big burp, big blue whale. What do you say about that? Excuse me. Thank you for being polite. Okay, so now we're going to see ocean friends. All of them are going to swim. Here we go. Ocean friends, swimming in the water. Ocean friends, time to go. Excellent job, friends. You did a great job doing all the different motions of our ocean friends that we met. That was a very silly story about animals getting eaten, but getting burped up. I have another story that's very silly and is kind of similar, but I won't tell you how it's similar until we hear the end. These next friends, some of you might recognize up here on the board. They are the rhyming dust bunnies in the book written and illustrated by Jan Thomas. Rhyming words sound similar, but the first letter often changes so that the words can rhyme. So a rhyming word that I know is dog, dog, and frog, frog. Do you hear how the first part of the word changes, but the og stays the same? That's what we're going to be seeing in this story. Hello, say the rhyming dust bunnies. We are Ed, Ned, Ted, and Bob. Bob doesn't rhyme with Ed, Ned, and Ted, but the rhyming dust bunnies rhyme all the time. Hey! What rhymes with car? Can you think of a rhyming word with car? We want that R sound. It's an A-R. Far, says Ed. Jar, says Ned. And tar, says Ted. But Bob says, look! No, Bob, look does not rhyme with car. What rhymes with bug? We want to keep that ug sound. Ed says rug, and Ned says hug, and Ted says mug, and Bob says, look out! No, Bob, look out does not rhyme with bug. Rut rhymes with dog. That was my example word. Do you remember? Well, frog doesn't come up here. Ed says hog, and Ned says log, and Ted says fog, which is when the sky gets hazy and you can't see very well. What about Bob? Bob says Look out! Here comes a big scary monster with a broom! Bob, no, say the rhyming dust bunnies. Look out! Here comes a big scary monster with a broom. Does not really rhyme with anything. Oh, okay then, says Bob, but run for it! Did you see the broom that was sweeping? It was my hand. Can you help me? Sweep, 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 sweep. The dust bunnies hide. Good call, Bob. Okay, say the rhyming dust bunnies. Where were we? What rhymes with cats? At. We want that at sound. Ed says sat, and Ned says rat, and Ted says pat. And Bob? Vacuum cleaner! The rhyming dust bunnies got sucked out. What's that I hear? Ed says, Bob, what rhymes with how do we get out? The end. The rhyming dust bunnies are trapped in a vacuum cleaner, just like when our ocean friends were in the belly of the big blue whale. Remember I said the stories had a connection? Well, now you know. I wonder if our friends will ever figure out what rhymes with how do we get out. I sure hope so. Maybe if they did, they could sing along in our next song. We're going to practice some body part identification. Is there something silly going on in the camera right now? I don't see anything this way. I don't see anything this way. What's going on, friends? There's a pig on my head. There's a pig on my head. You can sing along with this song and pretend there's a pig on your hand, and you can move your hand to play along. This song is written by Lori Berkner, who's one of my favorite children's artists. It goes a little something like this. Katie has a pig on her head. I do. Katie has a pig on her head. Katie has a pig on her head, and she keeps it there all day. Keep my pig all day, except sometimes my pig comes on my shoulder. You put your pig on your shoulder? Katie has a pig on her shoulder. Katie has a pig on her shoulder. Katie has a pig on her shoulder, and she keeps it there all day. Where else could this pig go in our song? My knee. You can't see my knee, but I promise my pig is there. Katie has a pig on her knee. Katie has a pig on her knee. Katie has a pig on her knee. She keeps it there all day. Where else could this pig go? Katie has a pig on her nose. Katie has a pig on her nose. Katie has a pig on her nose, and she keeps it there all day. What about my foot? Katie has a pig on her foot. Katie has a pig on her foot. Katie has a pig on her foot, and she keeps it there all day. My hands. Katie has a pig on her hand. Katie has a pig on her hand. Katie has a pig in her hand. She keeps it there all day. I bet we can do one last one. What about She's on my back. Here we go. Katie has a pig on her back. Katie has a pig on her back. Katie has a pig on her back. She keeps it there all day. What a silly, silly, silly song to sing. My pig wants to wave goodbye to you all and make some little snorts as we get ready for our very last story. Our last story for today is Polar Bear's Underwear, and it's written and illustrated by Tupera. We have two friends up here on the board. We have Mouse, who is wearing red underwear, and we have Polar Bear, who's not wearing any underwear. Poor Polar Bear. He can't find his underwear. What's the matter? Asks his friend Mouse. I've lost my underwear, says Polar Bear. What kind of underwear were you wearing? Asks Mouse. I don't remember, says Polar Bear. Don't worry, Polar Bear. We'll look for it together. Thank you, Mouse. And they found this underwear. Look at this colorful, striped underwear. Is that your underwear, Polar Bear? No, says Polar Bear. It is not my underwear. Whose underwear is it? Let's see. We'll come up with striped underwear. It is Zebra's underwear. And it's Zebra's favorite pair. Look, their underwear has stripes just like Zebra does. I wonder if all of our underwear will give us clues as to what animal wears that underwear. We're going to wave goodbye to Zebra. Bye, Zebra. Mouse and Polar Bear find another pair of underwear. Look at this. Is this your pair, Polar Bear? No, it's not mine, says Polar Bear. Look at it. It has such cute curly cues on it. What kind of an animal has a pink curly cue on them? Maybe it's their tail. Let's see. Whose underwear could it be? It's Pig's underwear. Squeal, 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 squeal. Wave goodbye to Pig. Bye, Pig. Next up, Mouse and Polar Bear finds an itty bitty pair of underwear. It has flowers on it. Is that your underwear, Polar Bear? No, it looks much too small for you, says Mouse. I agree, says Polar Bear. But whose underwear is it? Do you know an animal that likes to eat flowers? Well, they don't eat the flowers. They eat the nectar inside. Did you see them flapping across your screen? It is butterfly. Butterfly's underwear. Flap, flap, flap. Still looking for polar bears. This next pair of underwear says, I heart mice. This must be your pair of underwear, says Mouse. No, says Polar Bear. It is not my underwear at all. Well, whose underwear is it? Let's see. What animal likes mice? It's cats. Cats with their claws out. What should we tell Mouse? Quick, run! So Mouse and Polar Bear run away. Cat can't catch them. And they find another pair of underwear. It is blue with ruffles. Polka dots, maybe bubbles? This isn't your pair, Polar Bear, is it? Asks Mouse. Let's have a look. Let's see, who could that underwear belong to? It is Squid's underwear with 10 tentacles. Do you remember our jellyfish had 6 and our octopus had 8? Squids have 10. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Well, that's not Polar Bears, as Squid floats and swims away. They find another pair of underwear. Who might like carrot underwear? Is this your pair, Polar Bear? No way! Well, whose underwear is it? Let's see. It's Bunny's underwear. Hop, hop. And it looks great as a headband underwear. Just like when I had a pig on my head. Bunny has underwear on their head. Well, that's not their Polar Bears either. Well, Polar Bear's looking. And Mouse says, what about the white underwear? Whose pair is this? We look closer. Polar Bear, you are wearing your underwear. Your pair isn't lost at all. Oh, says Polar Bear, I forgot I put on my new underwear today. I had no idea I was wearing it all along, Mouse. Mouse says, I'm glad you found your pair, Polar Bear. The end. Oh my goodness, Polar Bear was wearing that underwear the whole time. I bet it would be easier to see Polar Bear's underwear if Polar Bear chose to wear a different color pair of underwear. Well, before we send Polar Bear off, I'm going to choose a pair of underwear for Polar Bear to wear. Polar Bear's underwear is so clean and white. He loves his pair because it's bright. Polar Bear's underwear so comfy and new. Let's make him wear a purple pair too. That is very silly. This is a game you could play at home with lots of different kinds of pieces of paper. You could cut simple underwear shapes out and have your Polar Bear wear different kinds. Stay tuned for our very last song. We're going to shake all of our sillies out. For our last song today, we are going to shake those sillies out so we make sure they stay inside of Silly Story Time. We are also going to do some more motions. We're going to clap our crankies out, jump our jumpies out, stomp our stompies out, nod our noddies out, yawn our sleepies out, and shake one more time. I showed you all the motions for this famous song written by Raffi because I'm going to be playing my ukulele while we sing. So I need all my friends out there to do the motions on their own. Here we go. I'm gonna shake, shake, shake my sillies out. Shake, shake, shake my sillies out. Shake, shake, shake my sillies out. And wiggle my waggles away. Clap. I'm gonna clap, clap, clap my crankies out. Clap, clap, clap my crankies out. Clap, friends. I'm gonna shake, shake, shake my sillies out. Shake, shake, shake my sillies out. Shake, shake, shake my sillies out. And wiggle my webbles away. And wiggle my webbles away. Great job, everyone. Here comes our goodbye. Friends, I hope you had a fabulous time laughing along with me as we read our very silly stories today. We saw animals getting eaten and getting burped. Excuse me. Out again. We saw animals that got sucked up with a vacuum cleaner. And we saw underwear, which is one of the silliest things I can think about. I hope to see you again next week for another edition of Tell Me a Story. I'll be back Monday morning at 10:30 a.m. Until then, have a wonderful week, friends. Bye!